severed
By
head
international
stabbed
standards, Japan
on Japanese school fence with what? With no in mouth?
is one of the safest societies in the world. But on the rare occasion something awful does take place there, the perpetrator always seems to crank things up to 11.
Did you know that Japan's one of Japan's most popular idols was their weather reporter? She was just like this really beautiful young lady that everyone fell for, and like one day she like took a vacation and people were like genuinely like really upset about that because they thought that she was hanging out, or like she had a boyfriend and she was like hanging out with her boyfriend or whatever, and like they like tracked her down, like had like videos and pictures of her, like of what she was doing and all that stuff, and like she got like into this whole situation about like the Japanese netizens saying like she's so fake and she's so like uh the what do you call it? Like the news reporters only hired her because like she appeals to the lonely man, and it was just like a whole disaster.
Now, if you were to ask a Westerner, what's Japan's most heinous incident? They'd likely bring up the slaying of Junko Furuta, or one of the other major cases that have received global attention. But if you were to ask a native, more often than not,
I
the
think
people
that's
attention bring up the slaying
Kinkakuji.
of Junko Furuta, or one of the other major cases that have received global attention. But if you were to ask a
Look, I think that's Kinkakuji.
native, more often than not, the first case that springs to their mind is a region-locked one. A case that rarely gets discussed or reported on in English. And it just so happens to come from my former home city
You guys
Kobe.
heard of this already? I haven't
The
watched this
Sakekibara
before.
Seito incident.
Sakakibara Seito.
On the morning of May 27th, 1997, the janitor
Whoa.
of Tomogaoka Junior High in the seaside district of Suma began making his way to the school's entrance gate. That Tuesday began like any other for this weary custodian, who always arrived before the students and teachers, just as the sun was beginning to rise. And yet, even at such a calm and
Whoa,
quiet
so
hour,
pretty.
there was still a tangible sense of unease in the air. There had been for a while. The city of Kobe was still reeling from a spate of attacks that had occurred earlier in the year, where a number of local youngsters had been targeted by a still uncaught madman.
Uncaught?
In February, 2 schoolgirls had been bludgeoned in the back of their heads with a hammer as
Oh
they
my-
walked home from class. The perpetrator managed to escape before anyone got a good look at him. Fortunately,
Jesus.
despite suffering severe cranial injuries, both girls went on to make full recoveries.
Oh, thank God.
This would, however,
Speaking of, there was actually there was an accident in a parade or like a festival, and I think it was California, not too long ago, where a police officer that was participating in the parade and was like leading a couple of the floats had done a wheelie but lost traction of his motorcycle, and because he lost control of the motorcycle, he ran into a group of people, like a crowd of people that was watching the festival go on, and he had injured like multiple children that were sitting in the front to watch the parade, and like a lot of them has like permanent brain damage now, and I don't even know what happened to the police officer after that, like because I stopped keeping up with the story, but it was just like, bruh, like that police motorcycles are not even, they're not even like the proper motorcycle to be doing wheelies on that. So I don't know why he attempted to do that.
turn out to be more than just a one-off incident. The same perpetrator struck again on March 16th, this time attacking 10-year-old Ayaka Yamashita and 9-year-old Kazumi Ishikawa. The former was repeatedly clubbed in the head with a hammer, and the latter, whom he assailed just 10 minutes later, was stabbed in the abdomen with a sharp blade. Ayaka suffered a cranial contusion and passed away a little over a week after the attack. Kazumi, on the other hand, survived her horrendous
Oh
ordeal.
my goodness.
Her attacker's blade stopped just short of rupturing her spinal artery. And, unlike
Holy
all of
shit.
the others, Kazumi had managed to get a good look at the man's face. detectives immediately knew that the same individual was behind all 4 attacks. Near the site of each incident,
Is he just
he had
attacking
left them
kids?
his calling card. The mutilated carcasses of animals. In one location, they found a headless pigeon. In another, a pawless cat.
Jesus.
With May drawing to a close, it had now been 2 months since the killer's last attack. And although he remained at large, the local parents, school teachers, and students were daring to breathe a sigh of relief, believing that this deranged lunatic had gotten bored or moved on.
What, you mean to tell me that they were just gonna be like, oh, thank God he's not killing anymore? Like, what? They're not looking for the dude?
Or realized the error of
Are
his
they
ways.
fucking stupid?
And yet, that sigh of relief had just been replaced with a gasp of concern. On May 24th, a local 11-year-old boy named Jun Hase had gone missing.
Oh, hell nah.
Everyone suspected that the same elusive
Oh,
man
hell
was the one
nah.
responsible for his disappearance. As the janitor approached the school on the morning of the 27th, he noticed some small, dark objects nestled on the ground just outside the main entrance. As he drew near, he realized what they were. The mutilated remains of 2 cats.
Oh, I thought he was gonna say
Confused and disturbed,
the
the janitor continued
kid.
forwards, noticing one more object at the foot of the main gate. Upon closer inspection, he realized that this wasn't just another cat.
Oh, hell no.
It was the severed head of Jun Hase, the boy who had gone missing just 3 days earlier. His eye sockets were empty, and small X marks had been carved into his flesh.
Oh my God.
Stuffed inside his mouth, which had been sliced open from ear to ear, was a crumpled up paper note. On it, Jun's killer
What
had left
the
detectives
fuck?
a taunting message, written in red ink. This is the beginning of
What?
the game. You police guys stop me if you can.
This was 1997, not even that long ago.
I desperately want to see people die. It's a thrill for me to commit murder. A bloody judgment is needed for my years of great bitterness. Beneath this, the killer had also written a message in misspelled English. Shul, killer. The note was signed Sakekibara Seito, an alias made using the kanji for sake, devil, rose, saint, and fight. Jun's headless body was found later that day, just 500 meters west of the school, on a mound known as Tank Mountain.
500 meters.
He had been
Is that
hidden
far?
under the floorboards of an old, decrepit antenna station.
How the hell did they
It was
find
quickly
him?
determined that the boy's head had been removed with a handsaw, and had subsequently been mutilated with the same instrument.
Oh,
Despite an appeal for information, no new witnesses came forward. Even so, newspapers and TV stations announced
I am
that the killer was
appalled
most
that this
likely a
is
male
actually
in his
real.
30s or 40s with a very strong build. A week and a half after Jun's head was discovered, a brown envelope with no return address arrived at the head office of
Oh,
Kobe
hell
Shimbun,
nah. This
one
guy
of the
thinks he's freaking Jigsaw.
city's biggest newspapers. Inside was a 3-page letter written by a person claiming to be Jun Hase's killer. In a 1,400-word outpouring of insanity, the killer wrote, "I'm putting my life at stake for the sake of this game. If I'm caught, I'll probably be hanged. Police should be angrier and more tenacious.
No, you should be
in pursuing me.
tortured.
It's only
They don't
when
give
I
you the
kill
sweet
that I'm
relief of
liberated from the
swift
constant
death.
hatred I suffer, and that I'm able to attain peace. It's only when I give pain to people that I can ease my own." The writer stated that he would be targeting schools due to his hatred of the Japanese educational system. A system which he said had turned him into an invisible person, isolated and alone.
What the fuck?
The letter was again signed Sakekibara.
Well, what? Okay, first of all, if you would... Okay, what... If he hates the school system, why is he targeting kids only?
Seito. However, in their initial panic to cover the topic, the Japanese media misreported his name as Onibara, Devil's Rose. This mistake infuriated Sakigabara, compelling him to send another letter to a news broadcaster. From now on, if you misread my name or spoil my mood, I'll destroy 3 vegetables a week. If you think I can only kill children, you are greatly mistaken. The term vegetables referred to members of the general public.
Oh god.
In essence, he was saying that he would take 3 random lives per week should anyone get his name wrong again.
Jesus.
Eventually,
How long
a
was
young
he
man in
on,
the city came
on
onto the
loose?
investigators' radar. Someone with a history of tormenting animals. With the help of the eyewitness and victim, Kazumi, they had enough evidence to charge
Get
him.
his ass, Kazumi.
And so, finally, on June 28th, 1 month after Jun's head was found outside Tomogaoka
A
Junior High,
month?
this nightmare came to an end. It was announced that a 14-year-old suspect had been taken into custody in connection with Jun's murder. The public were astounded that somebody so young was the person responsible. Due to strict
14
privacy
years
laws in
old?
Japan, the suspect's name would remain unannounced for decades, with the media referring to him simply as Boy A. However, in more recent years, his true name has come to light. Shinichiro Azuma, one of Jun Hase's neighbors, and a student of
What?
Tomogaoka Junior High, the school where the head was found. Azuma told the authorities how he had lured Jun up into Tank Mountain on Saturday, May 24th, by promising to show him a giant turtle that lived by the water tank. Together, they walked up a trail called the Chocolate Staircase, all the way to the secluded peak.
Oh my
Once
gosh.
there, Azuma strangled Jun with a shoelace, and then hid his body under the floorboards of a nearby shack. He returned the following day with a handsaw and a black trash bag. There, he removed Jun's head, and
Like,
even drank some
I
of
need
the
to hear the
boy's,
parents, what the
"pure
parents
blood."
did.
He did this in order to cleanse his own, which he considered to be dirty. He also removed Jun's eyes in order to extract his soul. He took Jun's head back with him to his own home, and then placed it by the main gate of his school
What?
in the early hours of May 27th. When asked why he did all this, Azuma simply said that he had a strong desire to kill that day, and when he came across Jun, who was on his way to his grandparents' house, he recalled that the boy liked turtles and viewed him as an easy target. Azuma claimed
Where
to
the
feel satisfied
fuck were the
that
parents
boy
in this whole
now
situation?
belonged to him. His reasons for leaving the head outside the junior high were twofold. Firstly, it was a diversion. In Azuma's mind, detectives would never think that the killer would leave his handiwork outside his own school. Secondly, he saw it as revenge. Revenge against the school itself, an institution which he felt had destroyed his spirit and turned him into a shell of his former self. While being questioned by investigators, Azuma not only admitted to taking Jun Hase's life, but also said he was the one who had attacked the 4 schoolgirls earlier that year, including Ayaka Yamashita, who had perished from her injuries. Referring to Ayaka, Azuma had written in his diary, "I carried out sacred experiments today to confirm how fragile human beings are. I brought the hammer down when the girl turned her face to me. I think I
Holy
hit her a few
shit.
more times, but I was too excited to remember." When Ayaka passed from her wounds on March 23rd, Azuma again wrote in his diary, "This morning, my mum told me."
It's like almost unbelievable how like psychotic this guy is. Like he's genuinely the most evil fucking being. Holy shit.
That poor girl that was attacked seems to have died.
And he's 14 years old, yeah.
There's no sign that I'll be caught. I thank you, Bamoi Dokishin, for this. Please continue to protect me. It's unclear who Bamoi Dokishin is, though I have seen one source claim that it's a deity, often depicted as the floating head of Buddha. Why Azuma thought this being was protecting him is anyone's guess. Whatever the case, the handwriting in his diary matched perfectly with the notes sent to the media. In the end, Shinichiro Azuma was found guilty of Ayaka and Jun's murders, and sent to a juvenile correctional facility.
Please tell me it's a life in prison. Please
His
tell me.
defense attorneys tried to make the case that Azuma had been pinned for a crime he hadn't committed.
What?
Now, Japan is notorious for having a
What?
99.8
What? I can't. I can't. It's so unbelievable. What the fuck?
8% conviction rate, and is often accused of imprisoning blatantly innocent people by forcing false confessions. His lawyers pointed to the fact that the perpetrator was, according to investigators, clearly left-handed. Azuma was right-handed. Whoever had penned the notes to the media had also made use of many complex figures of speech and intricate kanji, and was clearly a well-read and intelligent individual. With the utmost respect, they said, Azuma, who was a C student at best, wasn't smart enough to have written them. Not to mention, in Azuma's handwritten confession, he claimed to have done things that, quote, would have been impossible for a 14-year-old to accomplish.
Uh-huh.
These statements made by Azuma's lawyers prompted his own mother to visit him in prison and ask him face to face whether he really was the one responsible for committing the crimes he had been found guilty of. With complete calmness and sincerity, he assured her he had. On March 11th, 2004, less than 7 years after being incarcerated, a then 21-year-old Azuma was released from prison, with experts claiming he had been cured of his sadism.
Please tell me
Following
he
his
didn't do
release,
anything else.
Azuma published Zeka, the memoir of his 1997 killings.
Wait, he's a free man now? He's just a free man? I'm so confused.
He even revealed how before leaving Jun's head at the school gates, he had taken it into a bathroom and done unspeakable things with it.
Wait, what did he say?
He even revealed how before leaving Jun's head at the school gates, he had taken it into a bathroom and done unspeakable things with it. Despite public outrage that he was trying to profit from his terrible actions and torment the families of his victims, that didn't stop the book from becoming a #1 bestseller in Japan. And
I can't. Oh my god, I can't.
making Azuma a wealthy man.
I can't.
As if to add insult to injury, Azuma sent his victims' families a personal note of apology attached.
Oh. Yeah, I would have killed him. If he sent a note to me that he's like, my bad, sorry, killed your child, decapitated your child, I would have personally had tortured that dude, because what the fuck is that? This is so cruel. What a cruel fucking world.
To a copy of his book. Jun Hasei's father, Mamoru, had tried to block the memoir from being released, and has since called for new laws banning killers from publishing books related.
How was he even able to profit? First of all, like, I can't. 7 years, and then released, and then made a book on the killings that he's done, and then profited off of it, and then became a super wealthy. I'm so confused. I'm so
to their
confused.
crimes. In 2015, Shinichiro Azuma set up his own vanity website.
It's almost like he was rewarded for all of his actions, you know? Like, it's almost as if all of his actions have made his life significantly better.
One titled, The Unbearable Transparency of Being, the former Boy A's official homepage. The site's gallery section was filled with bizarre photoshopped images of Azuma himself, some of which I can't show here. Psychologists have since expressed their views that Azuma is self-absorbed and desperate for public attention, and as the website proves, he'll take it however he can get it. The site has since been taken down. Despite occurring almost 26 years ago, the infamous Kobe school slayings are still talked about frequently in the land of the rising sun, and it's considered to be one of the most notorious cases in modern Japanese history. It had a major impact on the
most notorious case in modern Japanese history, and it happened like almost 30 years ago. Like, That shit's kind of recent.
Nation itself too, and not just psychologically, but legally, and led the government to lower the minimum age of offenders punishable under criminal law from 16 to 14. Perhaps the worst thing about this case is that one might have seen it coming, said journalist Gamal Krumar. Yet neither his family nor Japan heeded the telltale signs. From a young age, Azuma had been secretly carrying sharp tools around, and even wrote in his diary, "I can ease my irritation when I'm holding a survival knife or spinning scissors like a pistol." By age 12, he was tormenting animals, lining up rows of frogs in the street,
Please
and
put
riding
this
over
man in
them
an
with his
asylum.
bicycle, and cutting off the heads of stray cats.
Please put this man in
By
an
the time his
asylum.
rampage on humans began, Azuma was displaying all the signs of hikikomori syndrome, a form of severe social withdrawal that's uncomfortably common in Japan, often brought on due to the intense amount of pressure youngsters are subjected to by their parents and by their educators. Japanese children are confronted with an extremely difficult examination at the tender age of 6, wrote Krumar. Their performance effectively determines their whole future, for it decides whether they'll go to a good elementary school or one of the despised state schools. Parents have no faith in the state system, and Azuma's mother was no exception. She pressured her firstborn to excel at school, even though social workers warned her that her son was mentally unstable. Azuma escaped into anime and manga, and rarely interacted with other people, whom he viewed as vegetables.
Electric chair.
The words he wrote on his notes to the media were even lifted straight from the pages of his favorite manga. Many parallels have been drawn between Azuma and another killer in Japan, the otaku murderer, Tsutomu Miyazaki, another social outcast. Many parallels have been drawn between Azuma and another killer in Japan,
Otaku,
the otaku
murderer.
Tsutomu Miyazaki, another social outcast and hikikomori. Even before Azuma's rampage made headlines, the older generations in Japan were already lamenting about how young people were becoming amoral degenerates. Once he was apprehended, they used Azuma's case as evidence to support their hypothesis that kids these days were becoming more violent and civil society was doomed. The Japanese media often supports this thinking, and in Azuma's case, said that his actions were influenced by the manga, anime, and video games that he escaped into.
Of course.
But others have questioned whether young developing minds should be put under such extreme pressure. After all, is it any wonder that so many young people in Japan regress from society and become hikikomoris when the alternative is a life of stress and servitude? Azuma was clearly a rotten egg. Every society has those. Perhaps a less pressurized environment.
He's more than a rotten egg, bro. This guy's from hell. This guy's from
it would have only delayed the inevitable.
down below.
It wouldn't have changed a thing. But to use him as an example of a general societal decline is a step too far for some. The vast majority.
I can't believe that this guy's just roaming around free with tons of money he made off of his book about the murders he committed. I'm just appalled. I'm just like, I can't believe it.
Hikikomoris don't become maniacs after all. They're just peaceful recluses who don't want what their society's selling. Namely, an endless cycle of work, sleep, repeat. These critics instead say that it's not young people who need to change, but the country's educational system and the unrealistically high expectations of parents and elders. But I suppose that's a debate better suited for a different
I need there to be like a documentary about this guy's life, actually. Like I need to know everything like about this dude now, because like how the fuck from being so young, decapitating and mutilating animals, from going from that to like killing children, and then like going to jail for 7 years, not even jail actually, like a juvenile correction facility, which is not the same. So it's like, oh my God, he made a living off of murdering things.
Just as Shinichiro
I'm not gonna buy his book. I'm not buying it.
Azuma have been inspired by Tsutomu Miyazaki, it's believed that his actions went on to inspire another killer in the city of Sasebo, In 2014, an unnamed schoolgirl took the life of her 15-year-old classmate and went on to inspire another killer, Yasutomu Miyazaki. It's believed that his actions went on to inspire another killer in the city of Sasebo.
Oh, hell no.
In 2014, an unnamed schoolgirl took the life of her 15-year-old
2014.
classmate by slicing off her head and left hand.
What is it? What is up with these children and decapitating other children?
The victim was found inside the girl's home, sprawled out on a bed, with her belly sliced open. When asked for her motive, the girl later told investigators, "I wanted to dissect someone."
You could have just became a doctor and work on cadavers. Like you could do that too, you know, like
were of course inexcusable. The general public did at least feel a modicum of sympathy for this unnamed female. After her mother's untimely passing, her father had effectively abandoned her and left her to live by herself. It's easy to see how her mind could have become warped. But as for Azuma, the public have been less than forgiving, especially considering how remorselessly he's acted since his release. Today, Shinichiro Azuma is 40 years old and allegedly lives in Tokyo, working as a mechanic. He married one of his admirers from his fan club.
Electric chair, both of them. No. If a freaking remorseless murderer can get a wife and make a living off, I just can't. He had a fucking fan club. What do you mean a fan club? What do you mean a fan club? What do you mean?
With whom he now has children of his own.
Children too? Oh, I can't. I can't. What the fuck is this shit?
Just think, Yuzu, you could have walked past this guy several times during your Japan trip.
I don't even want to think about that. I hope that he really is changed for the better and cured, I guess. Like, I don't know what, like, this is just appalling to just know that this guy's just living a normal life. Like, he's...
I wonder how he feels when they're walking home from school. Actually, I wonder if he feels anything at all.
They need to study this man's brain. As soon as this guy dies, they need to study this man's brain. Yeah, like, just imagine, like, the victims' families, or the victim's family, or families. There was multiple families involved, but like, they have to live with the fact that their child's murderer is living a happy life, a successful, wealthy, happy life with wife and kids. That is, they're stronger than me. They are stronger than me.
I'd like to say a huge thank you to Robin Mickelson for making the thumbnail for this episode. And also a huge shout out to all of my supporters here on YouTube and over on Patreon.
That was, that just, this is probably like the most mind-boggling case I've ever heard of. Like, I am genuinely, I can't, I don't even, it is so insane. It's so insane. Yeah, it's like he got a happy ending. Like he's just a regular schmegular person now. When you did shit in this when you did shit in the storyline but picked the good ending, like exactly like when you're a villain your whole life and then suddenly you randomly get the good ending. What the fuck is that? I'm appalled too because like a fan club and children. Ah, hell no. We need to monitor those kids because it might be genetics. Who knows? I need to see like what other people are saying in the comments. Crime rate in Japan seems to be quite low, but it does happen. It seems to cross all limits of depravity and human psyche. Absolutely chilling to say the least. Killers writing books about their crimes has always been weird for me, but it baffles me even more that people buy them. If you're really that curious, wait for a summary to be posted online. Don't give money to someone who clearly doesn't feel guilty about murdering someone. There's no way he was rehabilitated. He writes a book about his crimes and then sends along a copy of the book with an apology note. True definition of a psychopath. Also revealing the fact in the book that wasn't knowledge before, that he did unspeakable things to the decapitated head of that young boy in the bathroom. Like, bro. He did not give a fuck at all. You always know just how brutal Japanese cases will be even before you hear about the details. I didn't know that it was that bad. I didn't know that it could be this fucking crazy. To be honest, the Junko case is still worse. What's the Junko case? As far as I can tell, his killings. Is that? I thought we were just watching that. The cement one? Do not look up Junko Furuta. Is cooked. His, as far as I can tell, his killings were fast. A hammer to the head, a knife to the gut. You go quick with those. The shit he did with the kid's severed head were cruel, but the victim in his memory, and his family, not him. He wasn't still around to feel it. Junko was tortured for days in one of the worst ways possible. The killers showed no remorse, were even joyful over it, and when they got out, they made a sex doll in her image. Junko suffered horrifically, and Japan gave them a slap on the wrist and has never stopped them from their horrid actions after the fact. That is, well, worse. Oh my God. I can't. That probably happens so often in Japan, huh? The Junko Furuta case in complete detail. Don't do it. It will fuck you up. Maybe we'll save it for another day. Should we save it for another day? for never. Oh, maybe I'll see. Maybe I'll watch it by myself. Maybe this, if this one's like really, really, really bad, I'll watch it by myself. Ignorance is bliss. Okay. Oh, we are okay. But by yourself, nope. You better off just not watching it. Just erase it from your brain. Now I'm curious though. You guys said this was like really freaking like crazy. So I'm curious about it. I still can't wrap my head around the fact that one of those bastards' mother vandalized Junko's grave and blamed her for ruining her monster of son's life.
Okay. If you wanna watch it, go ahead. Just know we warned you.
Props to the journalists that found a loophole in disclosing their names by saying that they were inhuman. I can't understand how a girl so innocent and unproblematic went through such horrifying torture, whereas those sick monsters got to live a pretty normal life. May your soul rest in peace. This case will make you depressed. I'm already depressed from that previous video though. I'm already depressed from that previous. I'm just like so appalled. And to know that already, I already am spoiled by the fact that Junko's what do you call it? Perpetrators? I don't know what you would call them. Monsters are just got a slap on the wrist. A slap on the wrist, dude. Hydrate. Oh. Okay. All right, last video. Wait, is this okay to watch? Is this okay to watch on Twitch? I'm scared now. You guys are saying it's super bad. Safe to watch? Okay. Oh, okay. Prepare yourself. This is like gonna be really heavy, guys. This will be really heavy. As if the other ones weren't already heavy, but this is probably gonna be even heavier. Prepare yourself.
One of the most common suggestions to make a video about, and one of the most common questions on Q&As that I get, is what is the most horrific case I've ever heard of? It's a case that I'm sure a lot of you have heard of by now, but I'm not sure if you've ever heard about it in complete, gruesome detail.
Okay. Dire trip.
This is the story of Junko Furuta, widely considered to be one of the worst crimes ever committed in human history. So for the love of God, please don't watch this if you're sensitive to extreme violence, especially of the sexual variety.
Oh.
Trust me.
Oh no.
Junko Furuta was a young woman who was born in Misato in the Saitama prefecture of Japan. Her family consisted of a mother, father, an older brother, and a younger brother. She attended high school at a school in Saitama while working part-time at a plastic molding factory after school. She was saving up for a big graduation trip she was planning. She was all set up to start working at an electronics store after she graduated. She was fairly popular and well-liked by her classmates. She had great grades and was hardly ever absent. She was active, attractive, and attracted a lot of attention, which made some people jealous. She didn't drink, didn't smoke, and definitely never touched any drugs. This made her seem very lame in the eyes of the thugs around the school, the Yakuza wannabes. One of the boys in this group was named Hiroshi Miyano. He actually developed a bit of a crush on her and wanted to get physical with her. He proposed this and she refused. Hiroshi was a pretty big bully in this school, one of the only ones actually involved with the younger members of the Yakuza at the time.
Oh my god.
Usually, nobody dared defy him. He couldn't believe that Junko actually had the gall to turn him down. Hiroshi did not take this well at all. He couldn't believe that anyone would ever reject him. He took it as a complete and total insult. He got together with a few of his wannabe Yakuza buddies and they all hatched a plan to get revenge on Junko.
Oh my god.
They would get another one of their friends to attack Junko and then Hiroshi would come to the rescue. After he won a bit of her trust, they could take her wherever they wanted.
What?
On
His
November
plan was to
25th
beat her up and
1988,
fake rescue
Junko was
her?
riding her bike home from her part-time job when an unknown boy attacked her and knocked her off of her bike. The boy who liked her, Hiroshi Miyano, was conveniently across the street while the whole thing happened. He came to Junko's aid and scared off the random boy. He then offered to escort her home. Everything seemed to be going as planned. While Junko didn't actually trust him, it seemed better than the alternative of possibly being attacked again. She didn't have any idea that Hiroshi harbored any sort of hatred towards her. She wouldn't have imagined that he would be planning anything like this. Hiroshi took Junko into an abandoned warehouse and revealed his Yakuza connections to her. He then took his time raping her over and over. Then he took her to a hotel. In the hotel, he called his friends, Joe Ogura and Yasushi Watanabe. From then on, he and his 3 friends took turns assaulting her.
Oh.
Unfortunately, this was not their first time doing this, as they had just recently done it to another girl in the past few weeks. They decided that they were having far too much fun to just set her free again. There was also the possibility that she would call the cops and tell them what happened, and they couldn't have that. The next morning, Hiroshi took Junko to a nearby park, where Joe, Yasushi, and a 4th boy, Nobuharu Minato, were waiting. They learned Junko's address and used it to threaten her, telling her that they would kill her entire family if she tried to get away. The 4 teenage boys then took her back to Minato's parents' home where they continued to assault her. This is where, for 42 more days, she would be held prisoner. On the
42
third day that Junko was
days.
missing, her parents were
42 days? 42.
On the third day that
Where the fuck was everyone? She was missing for 42 days.
Junko was missing, her parents were dealing with the police, trying to get her found. Knowing this would happen, the captors made her call her parents and tell them that she had run away and was staying with a friend, safe and sound. She was forced to ask her mom to stop the investigation.
What?
They held Junko captive in the bedroom, forcing her to pose as one of the boys' girlfriend. It didn't take long for the parents to realize that this was a lie. Eventually, they dropped the whole girlfriend act altogether, as it was very clear that they weren't going to get in any trouble. Immediately after arriving at the home, the boys forced Junko into becoming their toy. They beat her relentlessly and raped her countless times a day, often taking turns. They were proud of what they were doing, regularly boasting to their friends that they had a woman trapped and
Why is their face covered? These fucking monsters.
for their personal use. They invited a load of their friends to come over and have their way with her. In the first few days, at least 30 of them raped her, and at least 100 knew of her imprisonment. Even women were invited to come see the spectacle, with a young girl even being invited to come over and see the prisoner, who then took a pen and doodled on her face. By the day 7 mark, Junko had been already completely stripped of all of her humanity. She was forced to be naked at all times and was constantly beaten and humiliated. They would shove her into the freezer for hours when they were bored with her, only pulling her out when they wanted to assault her again.
The fucking freezer?
Nobuharu Minato's brother and parents were living in the same house that she was being held in.
And
His
what did
brother
they do?
Nothing, aside
What?
from informing him that Junko might die at this rate.
What?
His parents were afraid to intervene as they had seen Nobuharu's violent nature firsthand.
Hello?
They also knew of his association with the Yakuza and feared of their possible retaliation.
Electric chair, all of them.
And most disgustingly, they worried about losing their good reputation in the community. After about 10 days of this torture, Junko's body was already starting to fail her. Because of the ongoing, endless beatings, so much blood had accumulated in her sinuses that she could no longer breathe through her nose. Her digestive system was also beginning to refuse food and water. If she attempted to eat or drink anything, she would instantly vomit. This also led to severe dehydration. Anytime she would vomit, her attackers would get angry and beat her even further. A vicious cycle that had no end in sight. When the nights got even colder, she was forced to sleep on the balcony of the home in extreme cold temperatures, sometimes near or below freezing. Eventually, one of the men that the attackers would invite over to the house to see Junko would go on to tell someone else about her, his brother. This brother of his ended up informing the police about what was going on at the Minato house. 2 officers were soon dispatched to go check things out. Minato's parents came to the door. When the police explained the situation, the parents simply responded that there was no girl in the house.
Oh, hell
The
no.
police took it at face value,
Hell no.
thanked them, and left,
Hell
without
no.
ever bothering to check even a single detail.
Oh, no. I can't. I can't.
After 20 days of torture, Junko was rendered completely unable to walk. She had had lighter fluid poured on her legs and set on fire, leaving her
What?
with severe burns. Her legs had also been targeted so severely during the beatings that they were left with severe muscle damage. She was unable to grip anything with her hands anymore, as they had been smashed with dumbbells to the point where her bones were crushed and her fingernails were shattered. Some nights later, the attackers got more rowdy than usual and ended up drinking too much. Junko took this as a chance to try to escape. She crawled down the stairs from the bedroom and reached the phone downstairs.
Oh my goodness.
She picked up the phone and began to call the police. The phone rang, and an officer picked up. Just as she was about to speak, Hiroshi came up behind her and grabbed the phone from her hands. He put the receiver to his ear and said, "I dialed by mistake," hanging up the phone.
Again.
She was then pulled back into the bedroom. She was in complete terror as she would obviously be severely punished for this. And she was correct. They punished her by holding her down and taunting her by waving a candle's flame all around her. Then they covered her entire body, mainly her legs, in lighter fluid and set her on fire once more. Afterwards, she started convulsing. The boys told everyone that she was faking it and set her on fire once again, only to put it out shortly after. Somehow, she survived. From this point on, she began begging her captors to just kill her
How
and be
is
done
she
with
even
it.
alive
They
still?
wouldn't grant her that favor. After being set on fire, they discovered a new way to torture her. The boys would hold her head against the concrete while the others would jump on it. One can only imagine what kind of pain and damage this would have caused.
God.
After about 30 days, Junko was no longer able to urinate properly. She had suffered severe damage to her genitals after they had been burned with cigarette lighters. She also had various foreign objects inserted into her, many sharp and jagged. Even fireworks had been inserted into her. The fireworks were not limited to only one orifice, as they were also inserted into her anus, mouth, and ears as well. She was left with eardrum damage so severe that she was nearly deaf at this point. Her hands and feet were so damaged that she could hardly move. At best, she could crawl. It took her over an hour to crawl to the bathroom. A later report showed that her brain size was greatly reduced by this point in time. Due to her hellish appearance, the boys no longer found her attractive. They used the same strategy again to abduct and gang rape another 19-year-old woman while she was on her way home from work. During these 44 days of hell, Junko Furuta was forced to withstand the most unspeakable torture and suffering that a person can imagine. Some of what was done to her includes being raped many times every single day, day and night, in all orifices. More than 100 men are believed to have raped her by the end.
100?
Sometimes she was raped by up to 12 different attackers in a single day. Constant humiliation. She was forced to be left naked most of the time. Many of the men who raped her also urinated on her. She was forced to pleasure herself in front of the attackers for their entertainment. She was beaten physically every day. She was beaten with golf clubs, iron rods, bamboo sticks, and various other objects. She had dumbbells dropped all over her body and her head stomped against the ground, face first.
This angel, this poor baby.
She had hot wax poured all over her face with a focus on her eyelids.
This poor baby.
Her eyelids were also burned with cigarettes and cigarette lighters. She was violated with a long list of various objects shoved into all orifices, including but not limited to bottles, both broken and unbroken, iron bars, scissors, roasting needles, chicken skewers, and more. She was given only the strict bare minimum of food and water. At times, she was forced to eat cockroaches and drink urine. She had fireworks put into all of her orifices, leaving damage and severe burns. She had her left nipple ripped off by a pair of pliers.
Oh my god.
She would be tied up flat on the floor and had dumbbells dropped all over her body. The drops on her abdomen were so hard that it caused her to lose all control of her bowels. She was hung from the ceiling and used as a punching bag. She was shoved into a freezer and kept there for hours at a time. Her eyelids were burned with hot wax and lighters when she closed her eyes in fear. Her breasts were stabbed with sewing needles, the needles often being left inside. Her genitals were burned with cigarettes and lighters. She had a hot, lit light bulb inserted into her vagina and moved around until it shattered.
Oh my god.
By the end, she looked like a completely different person after all of the damage. It was hard to even make out her facial features. Her body was severely damaged and crippled, and she smelled as if she were already rotting. She was continuously heavily bleeding from her genitals from all of the abuse. She wheezed heavily, struggling to breathe from all of the blood accumulated in her sinuses. On day 40, January 1st, Junko woke up to New Year's Day alone. She spent the day begging to be killed, completely unable to move. 3 days later, on the fateful day of the 4th of January, the boys challenged Junko to a game of Mahjong Solitaire and forced her to play. Somehow, even in her condition, she won the game.
Oh my god.
This infuriated her captors, who treated her to a severe beating with an iron barbell. And then poured lighter fluid all over her arms, her legs, her stomach, and finally her face, dumping lighter fluid even into her eyes. Then they put a candle to her face, igniting it all. She weakly attempted to put out the flames, but didn't have the strength to do so. This final torture lasted for a grueling 2 hours altogether. Already having been in a horrible condition, Junko went into shock and finally died the following day.
How did they even get all of this information, actually, now that I'm, like... The boys all admit to, like,
hours to inform
all of this and like,
the
all
boys all rushed
detailed?
over to the house in a panic. Fearing what would certainly be a life sentence, or even a death sentence, the boys started to freak out. But they came up with a plan. The captors then put her body into a 55-gallon oil drum and filled it to the brim with concrete. A small bit of Junko's long hair was poking out the top of the concrete, something they apparently didn't notice. They disposed of the barrel at a construction site in Koto, Tokyo. Seeing that place now, you'd never imagine something like this was buried there. There was originally a good chance that the police would never find out who did this. There weren't any clues to go on. Luckily, Hiroshi is a moron. While he was being questioned by the police 2 weeks later involving their recent gang rape of the unrelated 19-year-old woman, he got confused and thought the police were talking about Junko, as the cases were so similar. And thinking that one of the other boys must have already confessed, he spilled the beans. He realized his mistake, but it was already too late, and he told the police where they had hid the body. Joe Ogura had already been arrested for another unrelated sexual assault case. He was quickly also arrested for Junko's case as well. The other boys were then arrested within the next few days. Later, the drum was finally opened and the concrete was broke open, revealing Junko's long-deceased body in a nightmare-inducing, horrific condition. Junko's family was notified and told of what happened to her in detail. When her mother heard the details of what was done to her, she fainted. She ended up in a long-term stay in a psychiatric hospital.
Oh.
An autopsy was performed on Junko, revealing the true horror of what had happened to her. Small bottles were found still stuck in her rectal cavity, and it was revealed that she was pregnant, although the damage to her uterus was
Pregnant!
severe. Her face was so completely mutilated that she had to be identified by her fingerprints. Being that they were juveniles, the court withheld the names of the 4 captors. But journalists from Shukan Bunshin magazine were able to find out exactly who they were and publish the names of all of them.
Thank fuck.
Stating that they were inhuman and therefore didn't deserve human rights.
True.
Nobody really contested this. As we know, they were Hiroshi Miyano, 18 at the time, Joe Ogura, also 18 at the time, Nobuharu Minato, who was 16 at the time, and Yasushi Watanabe, who was 17. All 4 of these monsters were caught and sent to trial. During each trial, it was pretty common for onlookers to pass out upon hearing the details of the case. Even with all that they had done, they didn't really show any semblance of remorse. And despite all of this, they received extremely light sentences for such horrific crimes.
I can.
They were actually still being tried as juveniles, but after much backlash, they were changed to adult status. Still, after being upgraded to adult status, they received unbelievably light sentences. Something that, to this day, continues to enrage people who hear
What was
about
their
this
sentences?
case. The boys, somehow, were not charged with murder. Instead, they received a charge called causing bodily injury resulting in death.
What?
In Japan, the juvenile court system is far more focused on rehabilitation rather than punishment. Something that you'll remember if you saw my Yukio Yamaji video. Usually this means that juveniles will end up getting relatively very low sentences.
I can't.
Hiroshi was sentenced to 20 years in prison. Minato got a 5 to 7 year sentence himself.
I can't.
Watanabe got 9 years, and Joe got an 8-year sentence. One sad thing is that these monsters actually received even lower sentences than that at first. They were only
You're
increased
joking.
to the still low amount after an appeal.
You're
It
joking.
was so low that some people even questioned if their Yakuza ties were to blame for this. By the time of this recording, every single one of the 4 boys is out of jail and living free.
What?
3 of them were in jail for less than 8 years. Hiroshi, the ringleader, was sentenced to 17 years originally. He tried to appeal, but as kind of a fuck you, the judge actually upped his case to 20 years. The same thing happened to 2 of the other boys.
We'll take
and
as
after
much
seeing enough, the
time
4th
as we
boy
can.
decided not to try to appeal. However, they all ended up getting out long before those sentences were actually up. And I bet you're wondering if they continued to commit crimes after they got out of jail. Well, let's see.
I can't. I don't even want to know. I don't even want to
Nobuharu
know.
Minato got
Please tell me that they don't have a wife and kids. Please don't tell. Please tell me that they don't have a wife and kids. Please tell me that they're shunned by society and they're bullied and patronized every second of their fucking life.
Out of jail, he changed his first name to Shinji. He did this for obvious reasons.
No. You're just gonna change your name. You're just gonna change your fucking name. You're just gonna right.
In 2006, he got married to a woman from
Oh. Who the fuck is marrying these people? Who the fuck? Why? You have to be real fucking desperate to marry this piece of fucking actual fucking shit.
Romania and had a daughter together. They soon divorced, and the wife ended up with custody of the child. Minato couldn't stay away from murder for too long. He was eventually arrested again for the attempted murder of a businessman. The man had noticed Minato staring at him, to which he asked, "What are you looking at?" Minato came over and punched the man. The man then got out of his car and a fight ensued. It escalated to the point that Minato took out a baton and beat him severely.
Jesus.
As the victim tried to get back into his car, Minato slashed his neck with a knife he had hidden. The police were called at some point and they rushed to aid the victim. In the chaos, Minato escaped. He was soon caught and arrested. He denied attempted murder, saying he only intended to beat the man. The case is ongoing.
Right.
Joe
Ongoing!
was released in August of 1999. He also ended up changing his name to Joe Kamisaku. He actually had the gall to brag about his role in the kidnap and torture. His father had vowed to give their entire life savings to Junko's family out of shame. But Joe ended up taking this money and using it for himself to live a fairly extravagant lifestyle.
Oh,
Joe's
hell
mother
no.
wasn't much better, as she actually vandalized Junko's grave,
Oh,
saying that it
hell
was Junko
no.
who ruined her son's life. Joe actually managed to find some women to date him. He ended up marrying a Chinese woman, but the marriage didn't last too long. Afterwards, he started dating another woman. He went back to prison in July 2004 for 7 years for beating a guy he thought was luring his girlfriend away from him. He had kidnapped and beaten the man for 4 hours. He proudly told the victim that he had killed before and would do it again. He was sentenced to 4 years in prison. But in 2009, he was once again free, and he is still free to this day.
There's only so much I can take. There's only so much. Why is it so light? Why are these sentences so light?
Hiroshi Miyano went right back into his previous gang activity immediately after being released from prison. He was arrested for fraud at some point after this, but didn't see jail time for it. Right now, it seems that he's living a fairly normal life. Some might even say a good life. He is a regular patron at a local kickboxing gym and appears to have a normal social life. As of now, Yasushi Watanabe is the only one of the 4 boys who hasn't been arrested since. Because of that, it's not really known what he's been up to. Since the investigation first started, the police have been able to get DNA from the sperm and pubic hairs found in evidence to link several more criminals to the crime, including 2 men named Koichi Ihara and Tetsuo Nakamura, both of whom were arrested, and there are probably many others who have not been revealed to the public. It is unknown if they will all face any sort of charges. Time will tell. So there it is, the worst case I've ever heard of. I get this question a lot, and it's just always this one. There are a couple of others that come kinda close, but it's really hard to top something like this. I mean, you've got the brutality, the length, the scale. I mean,
It's just crazy, like, that all occurred in, like, 42 days. And she was able to endure that long. 44 days. 44 days of just pure hell. And this Junko was just the most unproblematic, most innocent, most, like, just such a good person. And she had to endure that for 44 days. And to know that her, like, to know that all of her abusers are just, like, roaming free. I just, like, what the fuck? I just can't. Like, that is wild. For just saying no, for just rejecting someone. Holy shit. That is crazy. This poor baby. Damn. I know, it's so like appalling. It's so frustrating to see that, like, they don't even get a like, it's, they just live a normal life afterwards. It's just there's no punishment. There's really no punishment. That's crazy. Cases like these make me ashamed to be the same gender as them. No justice happened. Literally no justice at all. Are you okay, Yuzu? I'm just in my feels because like I just can't believe it. I can't believe it. It's just so bizarre. It doesn't even seem real. It's just so, it's demonic. It's pure evil. I can't. It just, as you thought it was the worst it could ever be, it got even worse. Every single time. It can't get worse than this, and then it got worse. The fact that the boy's parents didn't even try to help. Yeah, like the parents and the brother did not try. Well, I guess the brother like tried to stop or do something like afterwards, like, but just like the fact that he was okay with it in the beginning and not like doing anything about it. And then one of the criminals' mom freaking went to vandalize Junko's grave. What the fuck did she do? This is why I believe that minors shouldn't get more lenient sentences just because they're minors. They can be just as twisted and evil as the worst adult human beings. The fact that the monster is still alive and living a life, it's a perfect example how fucked the world is. Yeah. Yep. Yep. It's cooked. Literally what I look like right now. Literally me right now. Literally how I look right now. Can we watch something nice now? What do you guys want to watch? Like a small little cat video, a small little daily dose of internet to be happy? Is that gonna erase all this pain and suffering? Cat video? Okay, I'll just put on a cat video. The Hello Kitty murderer in complete. I don't even want to know about the Hello Kitty murderer. That just sounds like another person who's murdered a bunch of kids. Cat video. Cat video. Best cat videos of the decade. I feel like watching it as a group was better than alone, though. Group discussion helps process everything that was said. I think so too. Like, I think it was better for me to watch, because I was gonna watch that video alone, right? But like, if I watch it with you guys, we can have like that discussion and we view it together, and it's not like we're alone processing it alone and we process it together. It's like a shared like experience and knowledge. I don't know. I think it was better for me to handle it that way. Shared trauma. Oh my god. Yeah. I think not knowing would have been better. Well, I feel like I was gonna watch it anyways. Like my curiosity always gets the best of me, and like even though that was really heavy, I think I don't regret learning about the case. I don't regret learning Junko's story. I think it is almost like it's almost like me knowing her struggle and like remembering her makes it better. I don't know. It makes it feel like she still is living. I don't know. It's like, yeah, it's like giving her a service to know her story. There's a significance to knowing what she went through. It makes people aware of what happened. Respecting her story and what she went through. Exactly. Makes it feel like the girl is remembered and not as a victim, but as a person. Mm-hmm. Well, and hopefully laws have been changed to improve these kind of situations. Exactly. Like, hopefully there's like some form of like trying to have laws and more protections and more like punishment for uh, situations like this that could possibly happen in the future. We can honor her memory now. Probably not, but the Yakuza ties did not help that case at all either way. I remember. I think I remember one of the killer's Twitter account. It was like a while ago where someone had posted like, by the way, this is this person's account and they did like really bad things. And I think I vaguely remember that whole thing on Twitter a while ago. It happened like 30 years ago.
You can do it, Snowball. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it.
This cat seems to have adopted his monkey.
What? Huh?
What the heck?
I can't find my screwdrivers anywhere. Like, where did they go?
This poor cat had an existential crisis.
Why are you doing this?
It's like, why am I doing this? Why am I?
He was trying to force his cat to love him.
Over here. It's not that serious.
If Nugget or Prim ever did that to me, I would have just ended it all.
It's pistachio ice cream.
This chunky monster of a boy. He's not overeating. I know that. Look at him.
The streamer's cat really loves her.
Oh my god, it's Susu. Aww.
I don't know what she's looking at.
Aww. There's a baby. Oh,
He
baby.
just flung cat litter out of the box. He's probably gonna do it again.
Uh-oh.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. Oh, 7.
Who would you save in a burning building, me or Kenzie?
You?
For some reason, a bat latched onto the collar of this cat.
Bat. Cat. Cat bat. My cats don't make biscuits. Well, Prim does, but like rarely. Oh. It's Spider Cat. He's holding
This
the
poor cat was halfway to heaven.
wait. No, Super Bat.
Stop.
Super Cat.
Jesus Christ. You want to eat? No, it's not time. You just ate.
Oh, give a treat.
They wanted to introduce their new kitten to their older cat.
Oh.
Shut up.
This cat was in trouble and yelled for backup from her big brother.
07. That is not a cat.
He's gonna laugh at your post. Did you get that? Oh my god.
Oh no. He's constantly sneezing. Help him. Yeah, same.
What do you think is wrong?
Ew. I saw that if your cat is congested, you can grab like a Q-tip and then you put the Q-tip close to their nose to grab the like snot, and then like you keep twisting the Q-tip. Like you don't go inside their nostril, but you just put it next to their nostril where the snot is coming out, and then you just twist the snot. That cat has a condition. There was like multiple videos that I saw. The relief must be amazing for that cat. That one friend who forgot to take their allergy meds in allergy season. You get a snot lollipop.
What do you think is wrong with this cat?
Stop it. Stop. What are you doing?
Do you like your new tie? It makes you look very handsome.
Wow.
This cat was really upset that they woke up from their nap.
What happened?
Oh.
Did you wake yourself up? No, you are so
Angie.
very grumpy.
It was nap time. Madge. Hello? Hello?
Careful, please.
Oh.
Really careful, not yet.
Don't.
Roger.
Oh. Aw, cute. Oh, what the? Surprisingly, my kitties, they don't attempt to eat my food. They genuinely do not care about any other food other than their hard food.
A cat got too close to a candle and its tail caught on fire. The outer layer of fur was protecting the cat, which is why the cat didn't freak out.
Hello? And the lady just walked by.
I have never seen a cat run in cursive before.
Wow, it's so majestic.
Unfortunately, Oliver, as you know, your sales have not.
My when Prim runs, you can see her fupa going voop, 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 from side to side.
Unfortunately, Oliver, as you know, your sales have not increased, you know, for this month. So, unfortunately, we have decided that we will need to be letting you go. This behavior is not professional, and I will be calling security. Security! Ah!
Security.
I found a cat that loves sucking on this person's ear.
What the heck? There's a cat on TikTok who who it sucks its paw after dinner time. Okay. Pogging. Oh. That's a brown cat. That's a freaking brown cat. They're so rare. That's a beautiful brown cat.
This cat got a little nervous and protective when the baby put their hands over the balcony.
Brown cats are what it is. I've never seen a lot of brown cats in my life.
Attempt to make this shoe launch off the desk on its own. You ready?
Yeah. He's like, let me open this one too, actually.
In order to protect their skin.
Very high maintenance kitty.
Do your stretches, special.
Oh my god. Pesto chicken pasta?
Oh, this is the cat that cat actually gags to everything. This cat, there's I think it was an Instagram account where they just have a bunch of videos where they introduce their cat to different foods, and the cat gags at everything.
This guy tossed in his cat to go catch a rat.
Yeah.
This person has a cat that walks on the same path every day.
Oh no. But why?
This person wanted
Why,
her dogs
though?
to come back inside, but they weren't really listening. The cat saw that they weren't listening and wanted to help out.
Wow, what a smart cat. Herding cat. Are we interrupting something?
Why are you...
Hey.
What do you think he's going to jail for?
Free the cat! Was hat sie getan? Free the cat!
What did the cat do?
Free
What
This
did
guy
the
was
cat
kind enough
do?
to save a kitten found on the side of the road.
Someone just. Oh no! It's a whole.
Oh hell no!
Run.
He got baited. This guy was the bait.
Someone just. Oh no! It's a whole. Oh my gosh! I can't take you all. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
He got ambushed.
We got a kitten problem.
This cat was confused when she heard her owner's voice come from a security camera.
What the heck?
Yep. Yep. My cats would just ignore me. That is a chonker. That's a freaking chonk.
If you take a wet toothbrush and pet a cat with it, it supposedly reminds them of getting cleaned by their mother.
Hunter, are you hungry?
Oh no. I always am really paranoid whenever I do my laundry. I quadruple check my laundry to make sure none of my cats are inside. And then when I close the door on my laundry, I make sure that I see Nugget and Prim to make sure that they're not inside the laundry. I quadruple check. Because apparently that's like a common way for cats to perish. They like end up sleeping in the laundry or like going into the machine because like it's warm in there.
This cat grabs food from the automatic feeder as if someone will try and steal it.
No, hey.
This cat was caught doing sit-ups underneath the car.
And that looked so delicious too.
This
It
cat
looked
was caught
so
doing sit-ups
perfect.
underneath a car.
Damn.
I have never seen a cat drink via Bluetooth before.
Bluetooth drinking. I don't know if any of your cats do this or if
Imagine
any of
losing-
your dogs do this, but do they ever try to drink from your water, like your water cup, even though they have their own fresh water that you've just made for them, and they come to your water and they try to drink yours instead?
Losing a game of ring toss to a cat.
Go, let go.
I want to do that.
I think he can sense that the brain cell is nearby, so he's trying to stay extra still so that he can finally intercept it.
See if Bruce likes cottage cheese.
Cottage
Want
cheese.
some, buddy?
He's so chunky. Oh no.
This cat has
No.
trouble understanding how the screen works.
Holy. Oh. Oh my god, that is the cutest thing ever.
Chega, Ninho. Ninho. Oh meu Deus, que gato doido é esse, menino?
This is fun.
Days. I just got off work, so don't look up here.
I have never seen someone that loves corn as much as this cat does.
Damn, you fucking that shit up. Can't even. Oh, he's gonna have so much
This
corn
cat
in
just
his
discovered
poop.
the new security camera that was installed in the house.
Hey. Holy.
You got your clutch, you got your brake, you got your throttle, you got your gear lever, AFR gauge, fan switch, steering wheel. You got all that?
Hey. Мы с Тамарой ходим парой, да?
Oh, they're bonded. Oh, they love each other.
This cat sounds exactly like a squeaky toy. What do you think he's trying to say?
Yeah, same. Oh my gosh. What is that? That's not a cat. That's a face hugger.
I have never seen such a nervous dog before.
Act natural. Be normal. What kind of noise
There's
is
only
that?
2 types of cats.
Hi, Delta.
Peanut.
Uh-oh.
Did hers get her cast off? Look, she. Oh!
Oh.
Why'd you do that?
You ate a bee this morning. How do you feel?
Ooh. Ooh.
Thank you.
Well, they only turn one once.
You mad?
All princess theme, but it's gender neutral, of course.
Nugget does that. Nugget actually does that sometimes. I'll be like sleeping and then randomly she'll like have twitches in her sleep too. And then she starts like running or her legs move a lot and starts bunny kicking my legs.
The whole princess theme, but it's gender neutral, of course.
A tortie! I love torties. I love torties.
Food by the foot. Do you want some food by the foot?
That's the end of this video. Hopefully you enjoyed the super special cat video that I
Don't
made.
do it.
And I'll see you guys again.
Don't mess
very
it up.
soon.
Don't do
Later.
it. Don't do it. Of course. Well, there's your cat video. There's your cat video. We can definitely do more another time. I'm gonna go shower and probably lay down a bit before I get on Path of Exile to just relax a little. But thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you for I know that it was like kind of a dark stream today. It was like kind of wild, but I did enjoy it. I like watching crime videos, or I like watching like dark videos. I don't know. That's just kind of my thing. That's like my interest, I guess. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed your stay. I will see you guys probably on Wednesday. If not Monday or Tuesday. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Let's send you guys to another streamer.